Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. I had actually sent that link already. I'm not sure you guys didn't get it. All right, so Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Welcome to another True Disciples of Christ Bible study. First of all, shalom, dear Suber. Nice to see you in here. You wasn't in the meeting today, dear Suber. You need to get back on board. I'm gonna add you back to the email. Nice to see you back on into this message. Shalom to the elder Marty Ma. So, welcome to another True Disciples of Christ Bible study. I'm Kahan Tazadaq. We have on the call Moray Benaya, General Yashabin. Looks like Nefertali didn't show up. David didn't show up. Jeffrey Lopes didn't show up. At least not on the side that they should have been on. So, without further delay, we're going to get into this lesson. And once again, we're going to need all of your support in support of this church that we are going to construct through the spirit of the Ruach HaKadosh. So I'm Kahan Tazadaq, and the truth go everywhere I go. If you are a man under the sounds of my voice, and you're tired of eating dirt, getting buried alive into these gynocentric courts, join the true disciples of Christ. Join the true disciples of Christ. If you are a womb man, join the true disciples of Christ. Here we go. That loves your man, your husband, or you're looking for a righteous man, then join the true disciples of Christ. If you are a 35-year-old, 45-year-old, 55-year-old weak boy, and you want to learn how to be a man, join the true disciples of Christ. If you're tired eating dirt, getting buried alive into a gynocentric society, then join the true disciples of Christ. Brother Benaiah, well, David can't read. I need the book of James. I want you to acknowledge James chapter 2, verse 1 through 6. See, the time is the same, Marty. It doesn't matter if you have on a Timex, a Swatch, a Casio, or you have a Rolex. The time is always the same. It's nation time. It's time to repent. So what I'm saying is don't judge a man by the price of his kicks, but that's what the average woman does. Someone give me the book of James chapter 2, verse 1 through 6, and prove all things. We're not to judge a man, and Eve does this every day. You judge a man based on what he could give you. You judge a man by the price of his kicks. So the title of my lesson is, according to the Bible passages in the Hebrew scriptures, so-called Old Testaments, are women subservient to men? I said the title of my message is, David, according to the Bible, in the Hebrew scriptures, the so-called Old Testament, are women subservient to men? Let's get that book of James, chapter 2, verse 1 through 6.
Come. It's the book of James, chapter 2, starting at verse 1. My brethren, have not the faith of our Hamashiach Yahushai, the Lord of glory, with respect of persons. Verse 2. For if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring in goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment.
What?
Come, come on, verse 3. And ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, and say unto him, sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, stand thou there, or sit here under my footstool. Are ye not then partial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts? Verse 5. Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not Yahweh chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him? Verse 6. But ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you, and draw you before the judgment seats?
And you tell me Eve doesn't do that, Benaiah. Tell me she doesn't judge a man by the price of his kicks. Tell me she doesn't judge a man by the substance that he has.
Come on,
And if the man is rich enough, she'll allow him to treat her like a whore because she's a whore for filthy lucre. Stop me where I'm lying at. But when you acknowledge James chapter 2, verse 1 through 6, it's telling us not to judge a man by the price of his kicks. Because one might be poor and the other might be rich. The Most High say don't judge a man by that. So the time is the same. It doesn't matter if you have on a Swatch or Rolex. The time's the same. Stop judging people by what they have. So we're going to go into this tonight, man. According to the Bible, David. According to the Bible, David. According to the Hebrew scriptures, are women subservient to men? And if so, how can women profess to believers in the Most High? And if not, why is Khan Tazadaq raising the interrogatory? Now, how does the Hebrew scriptures generally view women, David?
as helpmeets,
What was that, David?
as helpmeets, helpers.
Help me. Well, women's behavior was extremely limited in ancient times. You see how women are restricted in Saudi Arabia, Benaiah, in modern day times?
come on, come on. Very limited.
They got that from ancient Israel. And women hate that thing. You see the Edomite women on television talking about how oppressed those women are.
Come on,
See, ancient Israelite, I want you women to listen up. You think you want the word of the Most High? Well, let's see. Ancient Israelite customs included unmarried women were not allowed to leave their home of their father without permission. You was not allowed to leave your father's home if you wasn't married without your permission. Now you got married women that go where they want to go, Benaiah. That is not scriptural. She go out into the night. This is what I'm going to tell you, man. If a woman is not under your control, then she's not under your protection. You cannot protect what you cannot control. You said, Tazadaq, you're still like a misogynist. Well, you better call the Most High that. Go and find out for yourself. Go and check it out for yourself. Don't believe me. They were normally restricted to roles of a little authority. A woman should not usurp authority over a man. A woman could not testify in court. See, a lot of women hit me up. Yeah, I want the common law. Oh, no, you think you want the common law. The common law is the laws of the Bible. A woman was not permitted to testify in court. See, this is order. And this is what they don't want. They like chaos. Someone give me the book of 1 Corinthians 11:3. See, when you go against this divine order, you get the world that we have today. A woman doing what she wants to do. Man, I hate that thing, man. I hate that. I hate rebellion, man.
Come on.
I pray you when the Most High turn this thing up, man. Start bringing this judgment, man.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is Supreme Elohim.
See, that's the divine order. When we go against that, we have a world that we have today. Woman talking back to her husband. You would have never done that, man. You can't do that in the laws of the Most High, woman, and say that you're following the Bible. A woman couldn't even appear in a public venue. They were not allowed to talk to strangers. Why do you think we enforced it in our assembly? A woman was not allowed to talk to a stranger, man. And she's smiling in every man's face that she can, because woman, thou art loose. They had to be doubly veiled when they left their homes. I'm talking about ancient Israelite customs. This is where Muslims got it from. Now she doesn't even want to cover her head. Now, according to the Bible, women were subservient to men. I know you don't like the word inferior, but that's basically what the Bible's saying. Let's prove it. I'm going to prove it with the Bible. Don't get, wait. Don't get upset. Listen. I say they were subservient to men, David. They were subservient to men, David.
Calm.
David.
Now, calm down. Calm down.
So y'all better listen to David. What did he tell y'all? David.
Now, calm down. Calm down.
Don't get excited. Like the elders say, calm down. We're going to get you the precept. Let's get Genesis 1:27. And then we're going to get Genesis 3:24. If we read the book of Genesis from 1:27 all the way up to 3:24, you will see that the Most High considered women inferior to men. And we're going to prove it tonight. Book of Bereshit, chapter 1, verse 27.
The book of Bereshit, Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So Supreme Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Supreme Elohim created he him, male and female created he them.
Okay. Now, a novice an unlearned one, read this in the English transliteration. So Yahuwah created man in his own image. In the image of Yahuwah created he, him, male and female created he, them. These are Tazadaq, they was both created in his image. See, this might be interpreted as implying equality between the two genders. But wait a minute. But in the second creation story, Genesis 2 and 7, someone get me that. Bereshit 2 and 7. In Bereshit 2 and 7, Yahweh formed only man. He formed only man. The supreme Elohim formed man out of the dust of the ground. Let's get that.
Con. It's the book of Bereshit. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And the supreme Elohim Yahweh formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
Form who? Form who of the dust of the ground, Benaiah?
And the supreme Elohim Yahweh formed man of the dust of the ground.
Yeah, it didn't say anything about no man in womb, man. It said he formed man in the dust of the ground. Read on.
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
Mm-hmm.
And man became a living soul.
And man became a nefesh. Realizing that he needed a helper. Let's get Genesis 2 and 18. Genesis 2 and 18. Realizing that he needed a helper, the supreme Elohim marched all of the animals past Adam. Genesis 2 and 18.
Con, it's the book of Genesis.
Well, you're going to read 2 and 18 all the way through 20.
Con. Chapter 2, Bereshit chapter 2, verse 18. And the supreme Elohim Yahweh said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him.
Okay, stop. So we see that they weren't created at the same time. So the first story, when we read it, the first story of creation was being vague that the Most High created man and womb man. But they weren't created at the same time. The second story is showing us that. He created Adam from the dust of the ground. You see that? And he breathed into Adam, and Adam became a living soul. Read on.
Verse 19. And out of the ground, the supreme Elohim Yahweh formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them.
Mm-hmm.
And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof.
See that? Eve didn't have nothing to do with any of them. Adam, son of man, named it. What verse
20.
is that? All right, go ahead.
Verse 20. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him.
So, the Most High marched all of the animals past Adam, as we read, looking for a suitable animal. Finding none suitable, the Supreme Elohim created Eve out of one of Adam's ribs. The term helper has historically been interpreted as implying an inferior role for Eve. Someone look up the word helper. Although some modern interpreters believe that the word can mean a companion of equal status. But when we look at it in the Hebrew, the word translated helper is used 21 times, like a 21 gun salute in the Old Testament. 20 of these cases refer to help from a superior. Book of Genesis, verse 2 and 27.
Con, this book of Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 2. You said chapter 2, verse 27?
Come. Don't know what's going on with my camera. It keeps freezing. Bereshit 2 and 27.
I think it ends at 25.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, I'll tell you in a second, man. I got 2 words for you. Forgive me. I mean, 2 and 23 is what I'm looking for.
Con, the
2 and 23.
creation of woman. Con, this is the book of Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 2, verse 23.
Come.
And Adam said, "This is now bone of my bones
See that? Adam is usurping his authority over the womb man. He said, bones of my bones,
and flesh of my flesh."
flesh of my flesh. Read on.
She said, she shall be called woman.
Adam named her. You see that?
Con,
Adam named her. Adam usurps authority over the woman by saying, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And woman, this is what you're going to be called. She shall be called womb man. Read on.
because she was taken out of man.
So she wasn't created at the same time Adam was created. See, you see how people can misinterpret the scriptures if you don't have a good Quran to teach correctly? Because the average Christian will read Genesis 1 and 27 and say, oh, they was created in his image and likeness at the same time. No. La'ah. La'ah. Now we have overstanding.
Con,
Now we have overstanding. See
con.
that?
It's details like this that Christians don't understand or have not been taught properly. Stuff like this goes over people's head. I mean, look at that. Like you just said, Adam named woman. That's
Come.
something that a regular Christian preacher would skip over. That's important right there.
And I'm gonna hit you with something. Adam gave her the name woman. So Adam asserts authority, his authority over Eve by naming her. See, brothers and sisters, in ancient times, one was believed to have authority over a person or a thing by naming it. You see that?
Con,
What was the role of Genesis? Adam's role to Eve is Eve's master. Let's get Genesis 3 and 16. See, the King James Version, right? When we read it in Genesis 3 and 16, it uses the term rule. Rule. to describe Adam's role over Eve. Thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Can't tap dance with that, man. But when you read the Living Bible, it don't use the word rule. It used the word master. See, the modern language Bibles uses dominate. See, by implication, all of their descendants would have the same power and balance between the spouses. So your husband's your master. Read that, Benai. Bereshit 3 and 16.
Gone, it's the book of Bereshit. Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
You hear that, David? David? You hear that, Elder David?
Gone.
What are you supposed to be doing to your wife? Ruling over her.
Gone.
Is she supposed to be submitting? She's supposed to willingly accept that. She's supposed, and any woman not willing to accept that is because your spirit's off. See that? See, a man can marry, being literally become the master of the woman as often as he desired. You see? Now you got people saying, oh, Tazadaq, you wrong. They supposed to have one wife. Genesis 4 and 19. A man can marry as many women as he wanted to, man. See, I know you don't want this, man. But I got to tell you the truth. And that Isaiah 4 and 1 is going to come into effect. The book of Bereshit 4 and 19.
Gone.
Shalom, Chad. We was looking for you on that meeting tonight. Genesis 4 and 19.
Bereshit chapter 4, verse 19. And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other Zillah.
Mm-hmm. See that? See, Lamech became the first known polygamist when he took 2 wives. And subsequent men who took multiple wives included Esau. Esau had 3 wives. Jacob had 4. Usher had 2. Gideon, he had many. Elkanah had 2. David married many. Right? Rehoboam had 3. Abijah had 14. Jehoram, Josiah, Ahab, Belshazzar, they all had multiple wives, man. Solomon holds the record, though. He had 700 wives of royal birth, as well as 300 concubines. So why are you women acting like this is something new when this is a part of our customs? You know what? You're not accepting to this because your spirit's off. Your spirit's off. From there. Now, let's see how the women of old were. Let's get Genesis 16, verse 2. Let's see if Sarah said, oh no, you can't have another wife. You can't have that woman. Man, your husband would have put you away for saying that. Bereshit 16, verse 2. Tell your husband what to do. Esau's kingdom, which is coming to a swift end.
Gone. It's the book of Genesis. Bereshit chapter 16, verse 2. And Sarah said unto Abram, behold now, The Supreme Allahim hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee,
I do. I what?
I pray thee,
I pray thee. Read on.
go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And
See that?
Abram, come,
Go ahead. Go ahead. See that?
and Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai.
What you gonna say about that, David? See,
I
he ain't got
believe,
nothing to say, man. He afraid of these women listening. He think he's gonna get a phone number or something.
I believe it. I just haven't been able to put it together like this.
Had to
This
knock him on the floor, Benai. Get up off the floor, David. He's been floored by this right knowledge.
I believe it, but you help me put it together and make it stick in my head. I don't use my imagination. I heard the generals tell me once, don't use your imagination. What does the
Get on
Bible?
the front line in a football game. I don't play football. You are a wonder. We are fearfully and wonderfully made.
See that, David?
Come on.
Fearfully and wonderfully made. She said, I pray thee, David, go into my handmaid. Why are women not asking that? They want peace. They don't want peace. They want war. They love Esau's kingdom.
Come,
They love Esau's kingdom, man. And there's no one convinced me otherwise that Jehonan is going to be filled with mostly women. Hell is going to be filled with mostly women's souls
come,
because they keep bucking up against this truth. And this was done without the consent of Hagar because she had such a low status in the society of that day. She was required to submit to the multiple wife thing. You understand? She had to submit to her owner's command. From there, let's get Genesis 19, verse 8. Yeah, I hope you're all listening. I hope you're all listening, man. You could get on board or you could get deaf. But you're going to make a choice. You better wake them up, Jacob.
it's the book
Let's
of
go over to Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's have a look over here. Let's see what the Bible has to say about that. Better wake up, Jacob.
You want that Genesis 19?
Come.
Come.
Genesis 19 and 8.
Behold now, I have two daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing.
Now, see, this is the question that one should ask, a thinking man would ask. Now, why would Lot offer his two virgin daughters to be raped? Because the thing that was going to go on, these sodomites was going to try and gang rape the angels, right? That's what they're going to try and do. They was trying to gang rape. They said, send out them two fine men that went in your house, Lot. Send them 5 men out so we can know. They were sodomites. They hadn't even been to prison. They were just straight up sodomites. You see? So Lot offers his two virgin daughters to be raped instead. What did Lot say, man?
He said,
Keep reading. He said, I have two daughters which have not known a man. They virgins.
come, come.
I pray you, bring them out unto you, and you do to them as is good in your eyes. Yet even after this despicable act, Lot is still regarded as an honorable man. Why? Lot was still saved from destruction after I want you men to think. I'm gonna show you what kind of power, how the Most High look at you, man, versus the womb man. Now, this man just offered his 2 virgin daughters. But how did the Most High feel about that? Lot was still saved. You see that?
That's true.
Lot was still saved
That's true.
because the women had a much lower status. See, only in Esau society, you women, you living high now, man, because you're living under the devil. Even after this despicable act, Lot is still regarded as an honorable man, worth saving from the destruction of the city. Allowing one of his daughters to be sexually assaulted by multiple rapists appears to be treated as a minor transgression. Why? It was because of the low status of young women. That's why. I need you to hear me, man. I can't make it up. There's no other way to interpret it. From there, let's get Genesis 21:10. Oh, you see your husband can't have a man? Your husband could go out and get multiple concubines if he wanted to. Your husband don't need no approval from you. What are we reading? The word of the Most High. Bereshit 21:10. I said, oh man. And Tazadaq. She can tell Raekwon, I don't want you to listen to Tazadaq no more. See, this is why the girl told Raekwon, hey, I don't want you to listen to him. He sound no, don't listen to him. Why? Because I might wake you up. Wake you up. Genesis 21:10 to prove all things. See, they hate this truth, man. The average woman told she want the Bible, Marty. She hate this Bible. Now I'm reading it verbatim, Marty. I'm not interpreting anything. I just know how to read it.
Come on.
And I'm going to teach you all how to read it. And you're in the valley of decision. A woman to tell you who to choose, man. Who you could be with. You're a man. You're made in the image and likeness of the Creator. Do you understand that? What that means? Esau has reduced you to a boy. But the Most High raised up Kahan Tazadaq to make a man out of you again. Book of Bereshit, Genesis 21:10.
Book of Bereshit, chapter 21, verse 10. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac.
So a man could simultaneously keep numerous concubines. And concubine was a sexual partner or even a lower status than a wife, as implied in this verse. How do we know she had a lower status? Because she got cast out like it was nothing. She could be dismissed when no longer needed. Sarah is recorded as saying what? Well, Yashabim just read. Cast out this bondwoman, this slave woman, and her son. For the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. See, Abraham had 2 concubines. Right? Gideon had at least 1. David had many concubines. Noah had 1. Jacob had 2. They married. And on and on and on. Rehoboam had 60 concubines. Solomon had 300. You see that? Let's get the book of Shemot, Exodus 1, verse 15 through 16. The Pharaoh ordered the midwives to kill Jewish, I don't want to use that word Jewish, Israelite boys at birth because of the threat that they might pose to the kingdom. What did the midwives say? What did the midwives say to him?
Book of Shemot, Exodus, chapter 1, verse 15 and 16. And the king of Egypt spake unto the Hebrew midwives of each of the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew woman, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
See that? See, the girls, why could they live? Because they're being considered less important. They were not seen as a threat. So they were allowed to live. Stop me where I'm lying at. Stop me where I'm lying at. Because they killed a man, they could rule over her. Just what they're doing in this society today, they're ruling over you. And they turn you into daughters of adultery. A woman is described as a property of her father. And at marriage, her ownership was transferred to her husband. In Exodus chapter 20 and Exodus chapter 21, when you read the law. Let's get Exodus 20 and 17.
Gone, the book of Exodus, Shemot, chapter 20, verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Okay, stop. Why am I saying this? I'm showing you that the woman is listed as property. I need you to think. The woman is the man's property. We're going to read that again. We're going to read it slow. I want you to realize that all of the things that's being named off here is property. Thy neighbors meaning that man's property. So she is his property. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. What is that, Benaiah? Property. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. So she's listed as property.
Con.
Nor thy manservant. What is a manservant? That's a slave.
Slave con.
So why is the woman listed in the property? Because she was property. You see, according to the Bible, she's your property. Sirach said to possess your possession. She's listed right in there with the male slave and the female slave. And you tell me a slave's not property. Who can't see that, man? I pray that you can see it because I'm advocating this. How do you say it, David? What do you tell these men? You're so beautifully and wonderfully designed. Tell them, David.
You're fearfully and wonderfully made. It is written.
That's talking to you men. Fearfully and wonderfully made. Who does not see that she's listed in there with the man's other property? Nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, that's slave man, slave woman, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. They're listing her in there with things. So it's important to realize that a manservant and a maidservant was male and female slaves. They were not hired as a butler and a maid. So the 10th commandment forbids converting your neighbor's house, wife, male slave and female slave animals, or anything else that your neighbor owns. Is this not telling you that he owned his wife? So the wife is clearly regarded as equivalent to a piece of property. See, this is the Bible. Churches are not going to teach this, man. But Eve, oh, she's free in this society. You think you love the Most High until you really read this Bible the way it's supposed to be read.
Come on.
You hate the Most High as much as you hate me. You hate me right now. Why? What have I done? I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. From there, let's get Shemot 21, 2 through 4. The book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 2 through 4. See, that's right there in the 10 Commandments. And I could guarantee Benai, they read it, but they never got this understanding. It's telling you right there in the commandment that she's your property. And they don't even get it. I could guarantee it.
Come on.
Say, oh, I never read it like that before. Praise be the Most High. Praise be the Most High. As Ali said, hey, praise be the Most High, brother. Yeah, shalom. Praise be the Most High, brother. As Ali said, man.
Come on.
Come on, praise be the Most High.
Got him.
Ali, man.
King. Go ahead up.
That's exactly how he is. Cain.
On the book of Shemot, Exodus chapter 21, verses 2 through 4. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself.
Look at that. See, a slave owner was permitted to give a woman to his male slave as a wife. There's no indication that women were consulted during this type of transaction. After serving 6 years, he could actually leave. But the wife and the children will remain slaves of the slave owner. Again, there is no indication that the woman was consulted on this agreement. Let's read verse 7, that same chapter.
The book of Shemot, chapter 21, verse 7. And if a man shall sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do.
See that? A father could sell his daughter as a slave, even though a man slave is automatically given freedom after 6 years. A female slave remained a slave forever. You have to ask the question why. Book of Shemot, chapter 22, verse 16 through 17. See, the first 17 verses of Exodus, the 22nd chapter, deal with restitution, in case of stealing or damage to a person's property. But verse 16 and 17 deal with the case of a man who seduces a virgin. And this was viewed as property offense against the woman's father. The woman was expected to marry the seducer. But if her father refused to transfer the ownership of her daughter to the seducer, the latter was required to pay money to her father. And the money would be in compensation for the damage to the father's property, being his daughter.
We got some women in the room talking about something. Really?
Delet, shalom, Delet. Nice to see you again. And we're just reading the Bible, Delet. Read it for yourself. Go ahead and read that, General Yashabin. Let Delet hear what the Spirit is saying. Just
Book of
reading the Bible,
Shemot.
Delet.
God, the book of Shemot. Exodus chapter 22, verse 16 and 17. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Mm-hmm.
If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
See that? See that? Now, when we read the book of Shemot, Exodus 21, 22 through 25, it describes a situation in which two men are fighting and one hits a pregnant woman. If the woman has a miscarriage because of the blow, the man is punished as whatever the husband decides, right? And he must pay a fine for the act. Not to the woman, but to her husband. Why? Presumably because he's been deprived of a child. The woman had no involvement. And I can prove it, David. Exodus 21 and 22.
God, the book of Exodus, Shemot, chapter 21, verse 22. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished according as the woman's husband will lay upon him,
See that?
and he shall pay as the judges determine.
See that? See that, Cody? See that? See the question. The question is: are women subservient to men in the Bible? And so far, you have to say Ken. Now, when we go to the book of Leviticus, the book of Leviticus deal mainly with the duties of the priesthood. What's interesting is that the Levites, women were not allowed to become priests. You see? Let's get Leviticus 12, 1 through 5. The Levite women were not allowed to become priests.
Con.
Wow. Wow. David D.
Well,
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 12, verse 1. And the Supreme Elohim spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharallah, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation. For her infirmity shall she be unclean. Verse 3. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 33 days. And she shall touch no hallowed thing. And she shall touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary, until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days. Come on.
Well, that's heavy, man. That's heavy. I mean, it should be coming abundantly clear here. Different things. Why? From there, let's get Leviticus 18 and 20. See, adultery is defined as a man having sex with his neighbor's wife.
Come on, it's the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 20. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife, to defile thyself with her.
See that? Adultery is defined as a man having sex with another man's wife. Leviticus 20 and 10.
Come on, it's the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 10. And
So
the man.
why is it a sin? It's not a sin for sleeping with the woman. It's a sin because you're violating the man. You're sleeping with the man's property. You see where this is going? You see what people don't get this Bible the way that they should. See, the sin is not having sex with the woman. The sin is you're violating the man's property. Because she's that man's property.
And every time you see it, the Most High sets it up. He's telling Moshe, he's writing this down, with another man's wife, another man's wife, another man's wife, man's wife. It's showing you ownership within the text, if you understand it. Leviticus 20 and 10. Come on, 20 and 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
Tazadaq, they're not gonna like you after this. You're not gonna like you. I don't want you to listen to Tazadaq anymore. No. Go to listen to IUIC. Listen to GOCC. They're Christian church. Don't listen to Tazadaq. Go ahead. No, don't listen to him. From there, let's read Deuteronomy 22 and 23. See, when we read Deuteronomy 22 and 23, it proves what I'm saying. It extends this prohibition to a man sleeping with a woman who is engaged to be married. See, if a man has what Esau calls an affair with an unmarried woman, the act is not considered adultery. Do you understand? Married men were free to visit harlots. A man who committed adultery did not commit a wrongful act against his wife. Do you understand? But rather against his male neighbor. This is what the Bible's saying.
Con.
Do you get it? I know you simp dudes, you're gonna pretend you don't get it. You understand what I'm saying? And you
Get it.
women understand. Who the hell are you to tell me who I can be with? When it's written right here. See, this is, you don't like the Bible, woman. You think you want the Bible. You don't want the Bible. But this is what it's coming back to. Esau, your society is about finish. You're in a flesh toilet. Because you messed up this world. Read it for yourself. Oh, we can't make it up. Let's read Deborim 22 and 23.
The book of Deborim, Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man found her in the city and lie with her. Verse 24. Then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones, that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you.
See that? Now, when we read Leviticus, someone get Leviticus 27 and 6. A child aged 1 month to 5 years of age was worth 5 shekels. If a boy, and only 3 shekels if a girl. I can't make this up. The Most High is creating the distinction. Don't get upset with Tazadaq. I just study the word. And I make it plain so everyone can see the truth. And you shall know the truth, and the truth will make you mad. Then make you free. I hate that Negro Tazadaq. I don't want you to listen to him no more. We're getting a divorce. That's what it is. Why, baby? You've been listening to Tazadaq. Oh, come on, man. I stopped listening to him. You get back. Some of the wives looking at him right now, y'all should be cross-eyed. They go, you better change that channel. He starts sliding down in his seat, man.
You know
What was
they
that
are.
dude name? Yasmin got his car scratched up.
Quantus.
Quantus Lewis. He's doing a Quantus Lewis right now. He's sliding down in the seat. I don't want you to listen to him no more. She'll try and suck the life out of him. I mean, the life out of him. Calm that Negro down. He said, okay. Hey, she knows she got him when he make that ugly ass face when she get him off. He said, she make him get up. He make that ugly ass face. The Negro's already ugly. He make that ugly face. She knows she got it. She said, girl, I got this nigga now.
Oh, man.
She called her girlfriends and brag about it. I got his ass now. He made that sound last night. Face. She said, no, you know, girl, that nigga already ugly. He made that ugly face. David think.
It's a tactic to break you down. It's a tactic to break you down.
Huh. Whole paradigm just changed. You see it, he don't be coming around anymore until he has a problem. Like that guy, man. What's the guy in Arizona, Yashabin? Pretend he couldn't talk last night? Yasha Allah. He's supposed to be a part of T-Dot, man. Only time that guy resurfaces is when he has a problem with his woman. He don't realize the Most High is judging his behind. First thing I said to him, I said, brother, you always having a... He said, yo, I'm having a similar situation. I said, man, you ain't having no similar situation to me, man. I run my situations. You being ran.
Come on.
You know, anytime I see you is when you got a problem with this. I said, man, you with this same woman that you was talking to me about 5 years ago?
Oh yeah, that's a wrap.
Yeah, he's in Texas now, Cody. He was in AZ. Hey, man. Yeah, you know how many times he done broke up with her, man, and gotten back? I said, brother, this time don't go back. He said, nah. And then he stopped calling me again. I said, damn, he done went back. And
You
I was
already
right.
know what it is. Already
I was
know
right.
what it is.
No,
5 years? He's probably getting all that stress. He's probably getting life taken away from him due to stress.
mhm.
Yep.
Getting drained of your energy, bro.
He'll catch a case. He'll get it.
Con, you got that Leviticus 27,
Con.
27 and 3.
Con.
I
Come,
got it.
come,
Yo, you good? Okay, good.
come. It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 27, verse 3. And thy estimation shall be of the male from 20 years old, even unto 60 years old. Even thy estimation shall be 50 shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary.
See that? See that? Different for boys and for girls. From there, let's get Numbers 3 and 15. See, in Numbers 3 and 15, what do we learn from that? We learned that a census counted only male infants over the age of 1 month, boys and men. You
Con,
see that? Females was not considered worthy of being included. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. This is Bible. Y'all still want to follow the Bible? Then do what it says. Do what it says, woman. If you want to make it in the kingdom, this is what you got to do. So you can enjoy your time right here in this sinful kingdom, but it's coming to an end. And you're gonna wish that you had listened.
Con, the book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 15. Number the children of Levi after the house of their fathers, by their families. Every male from a month old and upward shalt thou number them.
See that? So when they took censures, you see how Esau does it now. He's taking everybody's censures. They only done it by the house of their fathers, and they only number the male children, not the females. When we read the book of Numbers 5, 11 through 31, it tells you the jealousy offering that had the women had to undergo if her husband suspected that she was committing adultery. You understand? There's no similar test for a husband suspecting of going and sleeping with another woman. And so one of the most interesting aspects of this passage is that if the woman happened to be pregnant, then the swelling of her abdomen and wasting away of her thighs would probably induce an abortion of that baby. Let's get Numbers 27, 8 through 11. This is what Moses is talking about. He describes the rules of inheritance that the Most High has stated. How come the wife didn't get the inheritance? Why does the son get it? I need you men to think, man. Book of Numbers 27, 8 through 11. What are we reading? The law. The law.
Con, the book of Numbers. Book of Numbers, chapter 27, verse 8 through 11. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, Yasharlah, saying, if a man die and have no son, then ye shall cause his inheritance to pass unto his daughter. And if he have no daughter, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his brethren. And if he have no brethren, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his father's brethren. Verse 11. And if his father have no brethren, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his kinsman that is next to him of his family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be unto the children of Israel, Yasharlah, a statute of judgment, as Yahweh commanded Moses.
I don't hear too many applause behind that. Not too many applause behind that right there.
Well,
You heard it for yourself, David.
Plain and simple.
David just hit him with one of his wows. Wow. When we read the book of Numbers, the 30th chapter, it describes the vow taken by a man is binding. But a vow taken by a woman can be nullified by her father if she's still living in her family of origin, or by a husband if she's married. See that? This is interesting, man. According to the book of Deuteronomy 22:13-21, a woman is she's required to be a virgin when she's married. Let's get that. Let me show all these women that they're harlots. And in repentance, you're to listen to your damn husband. Unless you was a virgin, I don't care. I only been with one man. Still, you are a hoe, according to the Bible. And you got to repent. Deborah 22:13-21. Don't get upset, David. Oh, I forgot. You turned in your save a hoe cape. You're not that guy anymore.
hallelujah.
Con, the book of Deborah, Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her and give occasions of speech against her and bring up an evil name upon her and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. Verse 15. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. So they going to the elders on the girl because she's not a virgin and making that thing public.
Not too many applause, David.
I'm still picking my jaw off the floor.
Hey, how far down did you want me to read from 13?
David,
because that 13 on is about the whole thing.
I thought you said until 21. But...
Till 21? All right. Verse 16. And the damsel's father, and the damsel, And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. 17. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, meaning a virgin, and ye shall take these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity, and they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him, and they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon the virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife, and he may not put her away all his days. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her cities shall stone her with stones, that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. Dang. A hoe in her father's house got to go.
Kick her right out the door.
The
Got to
hoe
go.
got to go out the door.
Con, con.
Hey, as property of her father's house, man, she's no good if she's not a virgin. Like straight up. That means she's gonna be a burden all the days of his life.
Con,
If she's not a
con.
virgin, she's gonna be a burden and not an asset. Because she's, just oh wow.
Right, because they're fertile, so they're going to have kids, and they don't know how to raise kids. And they
Now,
have to raise the kids.
when we read Deborahim 24, verse 1, it describes the procedure for a divorce. In ancient times, only a man could file a divorce. A woman could not do it. Now, 75% of divorces in this wicked world, I hate this world, man, is filed by a damn woman. Let's get Deborahim 24, verse 1.
The book of Deborahim, chapter 24, verse 1. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanliness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house.
See that? See that? You got all women mostly divorced or filed by women. Because you man because some don't so damn weak. And who allowed this? Ain't nobody allowed this thing but Esau, man. Esau's messed this world up, man. You the ruler, man. So you're responsible for everything that's going wrong now.
Come on. Come on. Put these women in these um, pseudo places of power, thinking they have control over the man. Put these women in the movies, see in the movies, a woman is leading an army full of men, telling the man what to do, beating up grown men. Subconsciously, the woman watching these movies is taking that back into the house, telling her man what to do. It's just, and it's all due to Esau and the woman following up on Esau, saying,
Con.
"Well, oh, if Esau tells me I can, oh, if I'm, especially in the in corporate world, man, that's the
See,
worst."
So like, yeah, they tried that during the time that I was in the service, Benaya, and it always ended up utterly different than the way they thought.
Con,
Always, or it
con,
never worked out for them. They end up being they end up being disappointed. The only ones that had a half a chance are the ones that actually look like men, and then they whipped up on a man that was 10 times smaller than them.
right,
Like it doesn't happen. It does. That's not how it goes down in reality, in real life. That cannot. That just doesn't happen. Not saying it can't, but I've not seen it. And I've seen I've seen my share of combat occurrences and even training amongst so-called men and women alike. It doesn't go down like that at all.
con,
In Deuteronomy, the 25th chapter, verse 11, if two men were fighting and the wife of one of those men grabbed the other man's testicles to try and, help her husband, that woman's hand is to be cut off. That's the law. But there is no penalty if a man relative was to grab the other man. It's right there in the law. Deborah 25 and 11.
Book of Deborah, Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 11. When men strive together one with another, and the wife of one draweth near, for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him, and put forth her hand, and taketh him by the secrets, then thou shalt cut off her hand.
See that?
Thine eyes shall not pity her.
See that?
Most High not playing no games.
None. At all. At all. Hey,
Yeah,
David, chop a handle.
Mm-hmm.
So you see where these
It's-
Muslims get it from, David, Dave?
I probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for you Akians. I probably would have thought that they had a better way. But I thank Yahweh for you, brothers. Thank you.
they'll try to come up with some kind of excuse nowadays. So some, well, we're living in a new time and things change. Well, show me that in the scriptures.
Come on.
Because even in the
David, Dave.
so-called New Testament, a woman is not to usurp authority over a man. And here the Quran has brought out all manner of scripture to show that that support, that the New Testament fulfills and support everything that's in the instructions in the Torah and in Tanakh.
Con. Most High can't change. Most High word won't change. It's Yasha Allah that's changed.
Come on.
It's the nation of Israel. Her people have changed. Your forefather and his forefather went astray, and at a point they stopped teaching these things. Um, Salat. They stopped teaching these laws, these instructions, as they should have been, and they went astray. Most High's word can't just be null and void. It's not matter no more because we're in the Gregorian calendar year 2022. Most High is immortal. The hell? You gonna put a limit, a date, a certain time period on the Most High?
You're going to hear women say, man, I just don't want to read the Bible anymore. I just don't want it. I don't. After hearing this, I don't want it anymore. Why you want it? I just don't. I don't know. They come up with dumb answers. They don't know when they have to answer. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
Mm.
The only thing I say is, damn, David. I don't want to cut it. David, not even David could save him. Not even David with a half a gallon of liquor in his hand could save him.
Look, young ones, it seems like this will hurt me, but it doesn't. It's helping me. It really is. And this is what I want y'all to do. Stand up, gird your loins like a man and get in there and fight. They're trying to save you.
It's good to see that you're in the right spirit, Elder.
Come
Come on.
Yeah, I locked myself out.
on.
So I decided to sober up.
I learned about the asking people for help. Sheesh. I guess I don't get none. And I try to tell the Kahan that, but he'll see what I learned. I'm locked out of my house in the middle of the coronavirus. It's freezing cold outside, and I couldn't get no help to get in my.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
Oh, that was beautiful. That is beautiful. Let me tell you.
He uses
See,
it for a good.
the most High looking out for you, David.
He does. He always has. And I'm not letting go. And I'm not letting y'all go either. So I'll be as good as I can.
Well, David, that's it. That's all I have, David.
Hey, I told the Kahan before that the general and they seem more knowledgeable about the Bible than me. But
Father,
he keeps stoning.
Father,
I'm like, oh, well,
Man, no.
Eli, 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 somebody. See what I'm saying? See what?
Oh, man. I tell you, man.
That is wild.
Father, Father, Eli, 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 somebody. See what I'm saying? See what?
I tell you, man.
You got a hell of a personality, man.
Yeah, the way he switched up so easily like that.
Come on. It's the buildup. It's the buildup.
That's yeah. That's what tripped me out, man.
he uses the foolish things to confound the wise. He always has.
And Marty Ma.
He like, wow. Yeah,
Marty Ma
Marty.
said, wow.
It went down just like that.
Eli, 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 somebody. See what I'm saying? See what?
The switch up.
So I watched the right.
I'm laughing too much, man.
And I saw how he died, then that's what I mean by Eli. Eli. See, that's what I mean. But it's a foolish thing. but somebody caught it. And somebody got started by that. Hope it made somebody interested in what's going on here. So he's going to use it for my good. I know it.
David.
Are there any questions?
Calm down. Calm down.
You make me get on the front line at a football game. I don't play football. You are a wonder. We are fearfully and wonderfully made.
I can honestly say I never met nobody like Elder David.
He's some kind of special, man.
I can't believe I pissed him off the way that I did. Homeboy got in rare form on me.
What happened?
Oh, don't do me like that again.
He doesn't remember those things.
Yeah, I take no offense with you. I listen to you. I make changes when you say things.
He doesn't remember those things when he's under the influence.
Khan, he might not remember that.
Yeah, I don't think he remembers it because one day I mentioned something to him. He didn't remember it at all. I said, all right.
Oh, all right. Well, David, you were telling folks that I was gonna beat them up and hurt them. I was like, well, what? And I was just dialoguing with you, like, I'm like, why are you? I was like, why are you defaming my character like that? Whenever you ever see me hurt anybody, and you were just going in, I was like, wow. I just asked questions, David. Then you kind of flipped the script on me.
That's what the Kahan tells you. Don't answer questions. So I'm learning.
You were making statements. Nah, man, you're making statements. But it's all good.
Thank you. I love you, Akiums. And I'm not leaving. No one ever hurt me here. Not by their words, not by their actions. So I'm staying.
Oh, good. I'm glad you cleared that up, man, because you had folks looking at me like I was crazy.
David.
Yeah, he's right. The Kahan did say something about it, and I didn't remember. I don't like that kind of experience. But thank you for forgiving me. I'm asking for your forgiveness, and I would never hurt you with the words of my mouth intentionally. But I can be sifted, and you all can be sifted. But what the Quran is trying to teach us is if we get to know each other, if we come together, we'll build this church, we'll build this kingdom. We're part of this kingdom. I can prove it. Quran said that he is not egotistical or whatever. He said that he is rude in speech. So I may be rude in speech at times, but the Quran don't give up, and neither do I. But
I was gonna bring that up, David.
Okay.
That everyone that's on the calls, and that and that you're witnessing this. I mean, David, he's dealing with some things, but he's not giving up, and that's really what it's about.
Yep.
Most I'll meet you where you at, and your spirit will be tried, but it's persevering. The fight doesn't go, or the prize doesn't go to the swift or to the strong, but those that endure.
Mm-hmm.
Con.
God.
Yeah, David, we can really tell just what kind of spirit you're coming in. Right now, you're very articulate with your words and really motivating the people to show them that they can endure.
They can. I'm 60 something. And if you're that age, I'm a testimony. You can do it, and you're not going to like all of it. This is not an easy ride, but it's the narrow road. And there's a reward at the end of this narrow road that people don't preach about, people don't teach about. But once I hooked up with these Archeans, instead of thinking about the broad road and what was wrong and what's going to happen to all those people, I started thinking about the narrow road. So just keep listening to the Kahan, even if he says things over and over again, something will happen. I can prove it. I went to these high holy days. Now I'm 60 something. I'm driving and I can't see at night. It's to be with these Archeans. So you can do it. If you're half my age, I know you can do it. You're supposed to do it. You can do it, but you're just not going to like it. This was an uncomfortable ride. I was going above the speed limit a little bit at night, and no, I can't see. You know those green signs that tell you, you know, where to get off at or something. I couldn't see them. You got the big trucks blocking the signs and stuff like that there, but I made it. And as long as it pleases the Lord, I'm going to be with these Archeans. I'm just rude in speech sometimes. It is written.
Well, David, I'm about to shut this down. So I will participate your attendance.
Con.
It is 11:30 here. I think I'm going to retire. I'm sleepy.
Con, most are willing. Until
Okay.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Con.
Thank everyone for tuning in. We're going to say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. Shabbat shalom.